Spawning in the top left-hand corner, representing the Team Gosu A clan tag, it's the Protoss player, it's Neroc. And in the bottom right-hand corner, representing USDR, it's the Terran player, it's ToonDragon. That is a sweet, look at that logo. That is awesome. This is the logo of a comrade right here. I stamp my seal of approval. On to that, but let's see what the plan's going to be. I think this is our first TvP of the day. We might have had one very early on. In fact, we did. I remember Stalkers getting absolutely mowed over by some bio. Scouting workers are going to cross, but they're not going to get a good look at each other. Based on the way that they crossed, they took alternate paths around this center square, but they are both in sync and both getting the information at about the same time. Will ToonDragon stick with his mechanized approach? Is it going to be Blue Flame? Is it going to be Hellions? Not the typical way that people approach this matchup, but many people make it work. So interested to see what he does. Probe desperately wailing away on this SCV, and it will get an SCV kill for its trouble. The RNG of building not working out in the favor of the Terran right there. The RNG in Terran building, sometimes the SCV is standing in the center, and when it's in the center from all the edges, you can't reach it. So it really becomes a thing when there's like proxy bunkers and stuff, how safe the SCV is. But it did come into factor there, and the RNG did not favor ToonDragon. He's going to lose an SCV for free. The probe also loses its life. Sometimes the probe will want to stick around. You can stash the probe here, keep an eye on things. You can stash the probe over here. So the probe's also going to lose its life. So it wasn't for nothing. It wasn't a free trade. Factory firing up right away, as well as a reactor on the barracks as the Reaper heads across to get a good scout. Adept is already on the way, so the Reaper's not going to find any meaningful damage. Second gateway being added on as well. Neroc has also opted to go for the early expand that you expect to see in a typical macro game. Reaper and Adept battling it out. The Adept will get the better of that trade, especially if the Reaper fights head on. Reaper knows better. Reaper headed back out onto the map, into the shadows, waiting for the proper opportunity to come back for some scouting information. ToonDragon down on supply. It's only a couple workers though, and with the power of mules, I think he will overcome. Adept headed out on the map, shading forward, looking to get some scouting information. What information is there to scout? Well, they will see the factory on the reactor, to be expected in most matchups, but not terrible to... Oh, is he going to see the second factory? He will. The Adept is going to get a good look at the second factory, which is a significant scout. Second factory would indicate a bio approach to this game. The Adept's even going to finish its shade and delay the second factory. So absolutely fantastic work from this Adept. Looking to get one more worker for its trouble. Probably shouldn't have got that worker. But yeah, Hero Adept getting 2 workers, scouting the second factory, as well as delaying the second factory by a significant amount. Barracks adding on a tech lab. No starport to be seen just yet. A third factory, wow. 3 factories, ToonDragon, you madman. This is not how you play TvP. This is not how. Well, let's see what he's going to be moving into with his heavy mech approach. Blink is on the table for Neroc. Blink openers, very safe, very popular, good at dealing with the type of Widow Mine drops that you expect to see. Neroc has also walled off here, which is a good choice, especially seeing the Hellion Reaper force that ToonDragon has been going into. He had the scouting info that this type of look was coming. 35 workers to 29. Neroc is playing a very solid game so far, growing that worker lead. Nexus at the third, on the way for Neroc. I don't even know what this upgrade's called. High-sec auto-tracking or something? I don't know. Somebody in chat, please fill me in on this upgrade. I've played Terran, but I've never used this particular upgrade. Hellions battling it out with Stalkers. Not something that you see every day, but the Hellions are numerous. They are quick, and they are getting free damage on the Stalkers. I'm not sure the Hellions are supposed to win this as comfortably as they are, but I think the way the micro is working out is definitely paying in their favor. Another Stalker will fall before they can reach the safety of the forces at home. These Hellions getting good damage on this Stalker. A Cyclone arrives to bolster the front lines, but a blink forward will send this biomech force scattering to the wind. Neroc neglecting to expand his gas income at his nat. 2 gas enough for him at this time. 3 more gateways on the way. Chrono boosting charge he feels will be the answer that he needs to close the gap on these speedy Terran units. 2 more Cyclones joining the fray. 2 more factories getting added on. This is that classic 5 factory lookup that is just so common in TvP. Neroc with this is a force of Blink Stalkers that is not to be taken lightly. Stalker damage is bad. Stalker DPS is bad, but well microed, this mobile force could potentially take a very nice trade here. Let's see how it works out. Blinking forward immediately, looking to pick off the Cyclones, unable to get quite what they were looking for. One Cyclone's just barely going to survive. A couple SCVs are pulled from their duties, gathering resources to perform a quick repair. Third base floating out to location for ToonDragon. Third base is up and running and mining for Neroc. Worker count in favor of our Protoss, only by 7. Army count heavily in favor of ToonDragon, but it is a fragile biomech army. It does not want to fight a Protoss army head on. Three tanks on the way for ToonDragon. He is pivoting into a heavy tank approach. Adding on Immortals is Neroc. Immortals always going to do a good job, especially when there's not a lot of bio involved in the game. Also getting into double upgrades. Neroc knows that those upgrades are going to be important. The armor upgrades are going to be less important against bio forces, but still good to have. Bit of supply block right now. Both players struggling to stay on top of these supply blocks as they have matching supply blocks, but ToonDragon's is on a higher number. So, moving out onto the map is a gaggle of Blink Stalkers supported by Dos Immortals. How will they fare against this biomech army in the middle of the field? Stalkers get a little ahead of themselves, jumping out in front of their Immortal. Immortal will get locked down and be taking free damage from this Cyclone. Cyclone does very impressive damage against the Immortal. This both forces starting to look a little bit fragile as they dance back and forth, hoping to get the better of their opponent. But on this day, ToonDragon looks like he will reign superior. Both Immortals are going to fall. Lock-ons will deal with the rest of the forces. 3 Stalkers struggling, barely sneaking out of there. 1 Stalker said to his 2 friends, "You're not looking so good." And Stalkers, they can't be repaired. They will get their shield back, the blue line on top, but that green, once it's gone, it is gone. There is no regen on that. Biomech moving on out onto the map. This force is a lot to deal with. It can pick you apart. It can be so frustrating, but once you finally get your hands on it, you'd be surprised how fast this army falls apart. But Blink Stalkers are not able to get the better of this army. No charge lots to be seen to close the gap. Adding an Immortal in, but the Immortal taking so much damage from the Cyclone might not be the answer that he's looking for. More units have joined these units on the front line for ToonDragon. 6 workers have fallen so far. He is moving his sights onto this third base of Neroc. Neroc is not in a position where he can give this base up, but he is going to lose it to the incredibly long range of the lock-on. Luckily for Neroc, he has got this 4th base up and running, which is now his 3rd. Bit of worker redistribution there is going to keep his income up for now, but he is starting to get bled out a little bit. 4th CC has been completed for ToonDragon. It is turning into an orbital, and then it'll probably float out to the 4th location. Army supply heavily in favor of ToonDragon, 80 to 45. It's still that fragile biomech army supply, but if you remember a while ago, we saw Neroc invest in charge, and we have not seen any charge lots, and I think charge lots would be a nice addition to shutting down this biomech. Cyclones continuing to bleed out units by engaging, locking on, and then kiting backwards out of the range of these Immortals, out of the range of these Archons. All of the valuable units have been shut down. Low health Cyclones attempting to pull them back. The Templar gets out a little too far in front of the army for its own good. One Immortal there. The Immortal will also fall. The numbers have been thin from this biomech, but reinforcements are on the way, and here they are. This is starting to look like an overwhelming force for Neroc to deal with. 70 army supply to the 25 of Neroc. Charge Lot's doing a nice job at getting on top of the army, even while bleeding out these Immortals. The Charge Lots have mowed through a decent amount of the biomech, but the numbers are still so heavily in favor of ToonDragon. He's sitting on 149 supply to 112 from his opponent. One more good fight here, and I think he's going to close this game out. Inching forward, looking for that game-closing good fight. Blue Flame making quick work of the Zealots. Inching forward, engaging, locking on with the Cyclones, and then kiting back is the name of the game. More reinforcements, parade pushing across the map for ToonDragon. He knows he is getting the better of these engagements, and he is looking to keep his foot on the gas. One Immortal struggling to defend the home front. 2 shield batteries will be done soon, but all the armies they were there to recharge are gone. 15 workers fall as the Blue Flame Hellions and Cyclones get into the mineral line of the 4th. 3rd base has not been rebuilt for Neroc. He is down to 2 bases. ToonDragon methodically approaching this with his battle mech army, picking out his opponent. He has taken the better of small engages over and over and over again throughout this match, and now he is sitting on a commanding lead, 178 supply to 90 of his opponent. Double the supply at this stage of the game is a death sentence for anyone, any race, any matchup. It's diamond. It's not over, but it's over. That's how all I can say. Long distance mining, trying desperately to get 400 minerals up to rebuild one of these bases, but those 400 minerals are 400 that will not be spent on defensive army, which is going to be necessary as this battle mech army, even through a choke point, taking the engage, kiting backwards, inching backwards. All of the charge lots have been cleared out. Army moving on to the more valuable units. 1 Archon falls, 1 Archon remains. It will be shredded by the lock-ons of these Cyclones. Cyclones managed to lock on to one of the last 2 remaining Immortals. One of the last 2 remaining Cyclones falls as well. Down falls the last Immortal. 1 Archon struggling to get value. Finds pretty good damage, but GG is called. Spawning in the top right-hand corner, looking to force a game number 3 from Team Gosue. It's Neroc. In the bottom left-hand corner, this man does not believe in Marines from the clan tag USDR. It is ToonDragon. What is in store for us in this semifinal match? Is ToonDragon going to continue down his path of mech and pick apart his opponent once more, or does Neroc have some tricks in store to get back into this game? First thing I noticed, ToonDragon will be opening up with gas before barracks. It delays your first barracks and delays some stuff, but it does get you into a quicker factory, and it is the expected look from somebody who favors mech. Back on the other side of the map, let's see what meaningful tech choices are made here by Neroc. Neroc has one coming up. His first decision in the game is going to be, does he snag that second Nexus, or does he go into a quicker core? All signs are pointing towards the quicker Nexus. Back on the other side of the map, Probe trying to be a pain in the neck, unable to get any free SCVs like it's been able to in the past. Probe falls down. Factory about to fire up here for ToonDragon, I would imagine. He's sitting on a little more gas than I think he wants. Starting up another SCV, dropping a mule. Here comes the factory. Factory on the way for ToonDragon. He has gone for the Reaper fast expand, so the Reaper and the expansion before getting into the factory, so it's nothing that plans to hit too quick. Adept pops out just in time to chase off the Reaper. Reaper leaves the grenade in an attempt to be annoying, but it is all in vain. The Reaper trying to get away is going to get run down by this Adept, neglected by his owner. This Reaper left to his own devices to escape. He is running like the wind. That ledge will be the tool he needs to get out with his life. Adept unable to seal the deal. Adept will continue across the map, looking to secure some scouting information of her own. Second factory has been started up with ToonDragon. It's a tech lab is building on this barracks, probably for the factory. I think this factory will turn into a cyclone machine. Adept on the low ground, attempting to be a bit of a pain, and over the wall, she will take some shots at the Reaper, but as two race car Hellions arrive, she is headed for the hills, trying to get home, not going to make it. Hellions will be able to chase down the Adept. And I think if you are, it's not a ton of information that was secured with that scout for Neroc, but based on the information you have from game one already, your mind already has to be on battle mech. So let's see, will he approach this a little differently this time around? Full walling here, leaving this is the way in and out of his nat. Not going to mine this out or anything. One little gap here can be blocked by one stalker. Less to worry about with Terran, but one thing a Terran can do as he gets these Hellions and Reaper together, keeping the Reaper alive, enables you to use that Reaper grenade to clear the Stalker out of the wall, and then the Hellions can run in. We'll see if that's in the cards here for ToonDragon today. Blink is on the way, as well as a Robo facility for our Protoss player. Supply counts are looking very even. Worker counts are in favor of Neroc, but that's everything about what you would expect to see in this matchup this early in the game before any meaningful exchanges have happened. A biomech force is moving out, looking to get some damage done. Third CC has been started for ToonDragon back at home. So this is when last game he really started to take control. He started to harass with the biomech, which he's once again doing. Biomech does way better against stalkers than I thought. But as he harassed with this last time around, the harassment he built up at home, and this is where he really started to establish himself with a very nice lead. These stalkers trapped behind their own wall. Sorry about production tab there, guys. These stalkers trapped behind their own wall, but as Blink finishes up, they will be a little more nimble and able to deal with this. ToonDragon, seeing that stalker count, may have made the assumption
additional supply depots
that it's going to be Blink, but he has not done anything to confirm that. Getting back home, adding a few more forces to the fold. Supplies are pretty much dead even at 70 to 71. Neroc is going to clear out these rocks. He's full wall, has served its purpose. He's re-walled here on the front, and this, with these rocks cleared out, this will be his new way in and out of his natural base. ToonDragon staying active on the map with this battle mech in position to intercept any kind of forces coming across, but there are none such shenanigans on this day. Neroc's worker lead, while still existent, has been chipped away at. Robo Bay is just finished up here for Neroc. Let's see what he decides to do with the Robo Bay. What kind of splash damage he decides to go into. Is he going to go into some Disruptors or Colossus? Tank production has started back at home for ToonDragon. He's also up to that classic 5 factory count. Battle Mech starting to look for its value. Blink is going to make the trade look better for the Protoss, but as he comes in for round 2, Blink has been placed on cooldown, looking for force fields to prevent the Battle Mech from walking away, and I think that's a good trade there. Neroc has bleeded out more resources than ToonDragon, though. ToonDragon, while things look like his army walked away from that looking bruised and battered, he is getting positive value. The expensive Protoss units that he's able to shave off are paying for the lost cost of what he's investing in the battle map. Colossus is going to be the play from Neroc. He's chrono boosting out, trying to extend that thermal lance. A quality lance must be extended for an effective army. Third base up and running at home for ToonDragon. He's getting some more workers out there. He's got a couple tanks minding the home ground. At this point in time, trying to scout with the hallucinated Phoenix is one thing, but there is no sign of Neroc getting out on the map, looking to get any kind of attacking done. He has to swell to a point where he can swallow this Battle Mech army. Battle Mech army will go under an observer on their way. And yeah, Battle Mech runs into an intimidating looking Protoss force. ToonDragon's Battle Mech not looking nearly as overwhelming as it did in map number 1. Will he have some sort of way to pivot in this game and continue towards the path to victory? Or has Neroc solved the mystery of ToonDragon, or at least solved the mystery of his Battle Mech, and has he solved it well enough to secure himself a deciding map? Fourth CC on the way for ToonDragon. These quick Cyclones and Hellions are getting a bit out in front ahead of the tanks, clearing the way, looking for a good place for these tanks to siege up. These tanks are going to be the deciding factor in the upcoming battle. The Battle Mech alone is not going to be a knife to effectively fade. And I don't even like taking that trade. Does manage to burn Blink out of the Stalkers, and now with Blink burn, these Stalkers do not have an effective way to get on top of the tanks. 3 tanks looking for a more aggressive place to siege up. They will get sieged, but Blink is off cooldown now, and these Stalkers will be able to get up, but oh man, tanks in the back line absolutely shredding through the Stalkers after they blinked forward. Will ToonDragon be able to use the positioning of these tanks to get the efficiency that he was able to get through the Cyclone lock-ons in the last game? Kiting backwards towards his tanks. The value of these tanks is starting to be felt here. No charge on the charge log on the Zealots, so the Zealots taking so much damage on their path to getting on top of the tanks. All that remains are these 3 Colossus. Workers from the third base of Neroc have been pulled off of their duties because they cannot safely mine with tanks in this position. ToonDragon continuing to bolster his tank numbers, sending tanks from home to the front line. Several tanks looking to unsiege and inch forward to a more aggressive position, but a nervous ToonDragon is waiting to make that final step towards victory here. Jumping forward, an Immortal added to body block for these Colossus. Colossus doing good work on some of the tanks, but too many tanks remain, and that is the end of these Colossus. 5 tanks with very few supporting forces are what remain here from ToonDragon's push. Quick Battle Mech forces are being rally pushed across the map, looking to help these Stalkers out as they are using their Blink to get on top of tanks, but the tanks are well spread and they are numerous. The tanks continue to shell on the third base of Neroc, and look at the supply. GG is called. ToonDragon headed to his 3rd final in Diamond Heroes.